Hi, I'm Charley Martinez, and we're back for the second round of the Meat Market Minutes. In this video, Dr. Anderson is going to be talking about the dairy side of things. Dr. Anderson?
Hey, thanks, Charlie. I'm happy to be here. I get my turn at dairy to talk dairy for a little bit, and I'm really glad to get this opportunity to be with you for a little bit. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to start with a picture of some biscuits. These are some that I make. And the reason I'm going to use this picture when we're talking dairy is I'll tell you what, these use buttermilk and butter. And we think about dairy products, we often think about just fluid drinking milk, but we'll talk a little about all these products, all the great things we make with milk in a few minutes. So I thought I'd just start with a pan of biscuits that I made a couple of weeks ago. This is sort of my weekend activity. So then now that I got you hungry, and I'll say too, these also, I use lard, but that's a subject for a different meat market minute than the dairy side of things. So with that, big picture on dairy. You know what? We're hitting summer, and that means ice cream. If we look at some of the data from USDA on retail featuring and advertising, what we would notice about dairy products across the board is drastically less featuring, drastically less, fewer advertisements in stores. And that's a trend I think we see across the country from grocery stores, is that they are advertising less, particularly in the local newspapers. And I think that's a kind of an interesting side effect of the restaurant side closing down, the restaurant side now starting to reopen. Yet with all of us going to grocery stores and not eating out as much, grocery stores really didn't have to advertise to get us in the store. And that's exactly what we're seeing with sharply fewer advertisements, sort of in our weekly sale paper, advertisements in our newspaper. But ice cream, now that we're hitting summer, is actually the most advertised dairy product in that USDA AMS data. Heck, it's summertime, and that means ice cream. One of the things that means, so if you think about the dairy world, we take milk and we turn it into all these great products. We're taking cream. We've got more cream being diverted to ice cream production now that it's here we are past Memorial Day, and pulling away from butter a little bit. I think we all know, we've seen the pictures of milk being dumped. We've seen the pictures of really severe distress in our dairy industry. All again, effects of coronavirus as it ripples through our economy. But one of the interesting things going on is if we looked at the Chicago Mercantile Exchange and cheese prices, we're down to about $1.30 for May, yet the June contract is at $2.11. We're seeing a surge in cheese prices on the CME, in the cash settled cheese prices, really providing some hope, I think, for milk prices going forward. Even though, again, this morning we've certainly got an announcement that on the DMC, payments continue to be triggered down at the 650 level for margin. We've certainly got some help coming producers' way from the CFAP program, which started last week. Yet we've got I think there's some evidence of some hope on the horizon in terms of milk prices, particularly as restaurants open and we can move some product that way. Excuse me. Fluid milk prices, if we looked at the advertised retail prices, some of the featuring going on, we tend to see gallon jugs that are priced below a year ago, yet half gallons are higher. If we look at some of milk prices going on, we continue to have really depressed prices at the farm, yet perhaps there's some hope there in the future. We begin to move some more of these products. I'll show you a couple of charts here, backing up this idea of cheese prices coming off their lows. If we look at U.S. Weekly reported cheese prices, 40-pound blocks from NAS, we do see some increase. Not yet what we have seen on the futures market, but certainly beginning to move in the right direction. So I think, we might certainly hope for some more of that improvement as well. But it's pretty clear to see the disastrous effects of coronavirus in our retail markets right there, just with cheese prices. Milk production continues to outpace a year ago with the latest data through April. In about 2 weeks, we're going to get the June report. We'll get May milk production. Certainly in some of the market commentary that's out there, we're starting to see some effects of low prices, producers trying to cut production, which has been talked about a lot in dairy circles, but we're seeing some evidence of reduced milk production as we went through May, particularly we get towards the end of May. Yet we might also remember too that seasonally milk production does tend to decline. Once we get into June, July, August, we get into the hot summer months, we see some lower production. So this may also play into some hope for better milk prices, as well as just seasonally changing production levels. A little bit on dairy cow slaughter. Just to point out, we moved a lot of dairy cows, relatively large number, certainly above the 5-year average in most of this year. Yet dairy cow movement to market has certainly slowed down, as it often does seasonally this time of year. Again, also kind of providing some evidence of cutting into this milk production a little bit. And so, we get to thinking about all of these things together, and maybe some hope on the horizon for some higher prices. Yet we still got a ways to go in terms of really disastrously low prices at the farm level. So with that in mind, I'm going to just jump back to another view of those biscuits, or I started to call it a vision. Maybe it is a vision. They sure were tasty. And so I'll leave you with that, and we think about all the great things that milk goes into. I can tell you that I've probably drunk more milk in the last couple of months while I've been working from home than I have in a heck of a long time. Yet I'm also finding a way to use a lot more dairy products as well, just whipping up some good stuff in the kitchen. With that, hey, thanks for having me here on Meat Market Minutes when I get to cover dairy this week.
So does anybody have any questions among the group for Dr. Anderson?
David, can you walk through just real quick?
Silence.
Can you
Y'all's mouths are watering from them biscuits.
You walk through really quickly what the different the 4 classes are, maybe for those people who have never heard about how that's priced differently?
That's going to take more than a Meat Market Minute.
Oh, maybe that's what we'll do on your next dairy Meat Market Minute. You can block that off for the next time.
Well, with that, if there's no more questions, then thank you, Dr. Anderson, and to the viewer, we hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to look around at the other ones that we'll have posted. Thank you.